Good afternoon. Welcome to the tea table. I am so happy you have joined me today. We are in the middle of summer glory indeed, yes. I am just sitting here on my deck enjoying this beautiful sun, and I have a very special bouquet for you. My candy cane rose just bloomed in glory, and I put it in this wonderful vase. You know, when I put it on the table, it fell over, and one of my roses, the petals are falling off. But isn't it just gorgeous? These beautiful candy cane roses. And they are in a candelabra. I think they're called the candelabra rose because they grow with 5 roses on the tip. Yes, like a beautiful candelabra. Well, how are you all doing? Put a little bit more green in there. It's falling out. And I'm using some of my hedge for greenery. I have a lot of green, as you see, and I have another pot here of my plants that I love. So we have lovely pink today, and I hope you're having a good summer. And I want to show you, I brought you one of my most beautiful teapots that I absolutely love, and little Demitasse size cups, Bavarian. One for you. You can choose the green or the pink. And let me show you this pink one. It is on a pedestal. It's very delicate. It stands on a pedestal. It has the lady and the man. And this saucer is so unusual. It's very small, but it has, I know that it's Bavarian. I can tell the way it feels. The Bavarian china just feels different. And this looks like a Bavarian pot, this lovely teapot. So I'm gonna pour this one for you. And I think you would like a splash of milk, right? Okay. That's for you. And by the way, if you haven't gotten your tea yet, please pause and get your tea, and I'll be waiting for you. Now, this is one of my favorite greens. I call this French green, and I think it goes, whoops, so lovely with this beautiful pot. Put it up so you can see it. Oh my goodness, it's so beautiful. And I want a little splash of milk. And my cream pitcher also is so lovely. All the way around, roses. Pink roses, the classic flower forever. I think I got this a little bit full. This is, I'm going to just pour it like that because it's dripping. But I want to show you something. Instead of using a silver tray today, the pot is on this tray. It's a glass tray. Isn't that beautiful? With flowers, with more roses. Well, these might be peonies. Beautiful. And so this is what I did. I put it on here like this. Isn't that lovely? And then I put my little pink cup. I'm going to put your cup on the tray to show you. And there it is. Isn't it lovely? Whoa. Now this little pink cup is tipping. It's very dangerous. So I'm going to put it over here for you. And then it looks like a little bit of this tea spilled on my tray, and I'm going to wipe it off because what I wanted to do was put the tray here so you could admire and see this lovely teapot during this tea talk. There. I think you can see it now. And then here is the little creamer. Is that showing too? It's just such a very small square that I'm trying to get all of this in. Now I have a treat. The children will like this on a silver plate, little chocolate chip cookies. Yes, and I could put them back here. They would go on the tray. There's not a lot of room on this tray, but I think that works. And then I brought something very healthy and very seasonal. Plums. Aren't they gorgeous? Beautiful plums. And we should put them, well, could we put them here behind this? Let's see. There, let's see. This here and this here. So we can enjoy. God made the fruit so beautiful this time of year. My, he did. Yes. Well, I am so happy that you've joined me. I've had a big week. I told you last week I was going to my Kenyan graduation, and it was absolutely spectacular. Oh my, it went from 9:30 in the morning until 2:30 in the afternoon. The Kenyans know how to celebrate. They are so beautiful. It was a lovely graduation. And my brother, Jamie, who has visited, he's a pastor, he's visited Kenya twice and has wonderful relationships in Kenya. They had him as the speaker, the graduation speaker, he did a beautiful job. So it was full circle. We've had a big week. We've been on vacation, and we've been doing a lot of day trips. We went up the canal, up the loop. We have gone to the Oregon coast, and I wanted to do a tea talk by Cannon Beach, but our timing wasn't right. But I'm going to do a tea talk before summer's over, out in nature in a special, beautiful place for you. And I just decided to put a lot of color on. My grandmother, my Norwegian grandmother, she knew that I loved color, and she would call me, she had a very heavy accent from Norway, and she said, "Susan, you have gypsy blood, all the color you like to wear," and I've always loved color. So I brought a little purse along to show you. I've had this on the Tea Talk before, but we have new people. And this has to be one of the most unique. It opens like that. It's got flower petals on it. And then you zip and open it. And here it is. You can put, there is actually room, quite a bit of room in this purse. I could take my cell phone along. That's what I always look. Something I can fit my cell phone in so I can get pictures wherever I go. But this kind of matches this, and it's just a fun combination of, I like flecks of gold and red. This actually is the colors of the tabernacle in the wilderness. Purple, blue, red, gold. Isn't it just wonderful? I love it. Well, I was thinking so much about you and on this trip, And I met so many beautiful people. And I met people that, well, when we were in Seaside, I was actually wearing these flowers in my hair. And I got stopped by so many young people. They liked my flowers. And so I would tell them about my YouTube channel and the Tea Talk. So we might have some new guests today. It's interesting how people love color. And the young people, I seem to really, they like the way I dress. So they don't mind that I'm a little bit overdone. But we want to bring some color to the world, don't we? And so I feel like you can't really put too much. Look at nature. God is so extravagant. If you analyze this one, just take one beautiful candy cane rose and analyze the beauty in that. The shades and the color and the art and the tapestries. And these are what gave people ideas. Even for a design like this, which may be called a paisley design, you know, it comes from nature. It comes from the beautiful creation in the sea and the animals and the birds. Well, I thought I want to read you a poem. I've had people really like the poem I read, and I've got a lot of poems. And you know, I wrote a poem in June, and it is called, let's see if I can get it for you. It's called Summer Glory. Now, I probably need to write one. Whoa, that tea splashed and it got all over my glasses. I've got to clean them. We're just floating in tea here. Okay, now I can see. Well, it's called Summer Glory, and it's about the month of June, but it's still summer, and I'm going to write one for August soon, but here, let me just read it to you. I thought it was a fun poem. It's not too long, and it goes like this. Okay, if I can get situated here. Summer Glory. We're in the month of June now. The birds sing song in morn, the flowers blooming stately, the solstice sun adorn. The creeks, they are a-swollen, the river banks run high, the fields are green with planting, the fish are swimming by. It's summertime, the living easy, children run and play, the farmer in the field, it's time to mow the hay. June bugs look like lanterns glow, honeysuckle by road grows, its heady scent, aroma flows, fills up my senses through my nose. I take my book and sit by stream. Is this for real or a dream? My heart is filled with joy supreme, strawberries sweet and clotted cream. It's time for tea at garden bower, romantic tales in flower arbor, a song of flute, Seville the barber. The boats are safe in quiet harbor. Take this summer tonic deep, let it heal your soul and keep in your heart this glory song, all through the year carry along. And I think that's what summer is all about. It's drinking in and letting our soul experience the beauties of nature, the fruit that God has given us, the flowers He's blooming all around us. It is just a time to reflect and relax. I've had a fabulous summer, and we still have a lot of summer left. It is really not officially fall until September 20th. Isn't that nice? So we have a lot of time. And there's still time to get a little vacation if you haven't had one yet. And I I think, like, this is something I'm wearing. This is a real shell, and I consider this summer jewelry. When it's something like a shell like that, it's summer jewelry. Isn't that fun? And the bright colors for summer. When autumn comes, I want tweed and woolens and plaid. And then when November comes, I want velvet and fur. And then we go through winter and we enjoy all the woolens and the wonderful colors of that. And then we come to spring and we want the bright whites and blues and reds and yellows. And then we come to summer and it's every color in the rainbow for sure. Now, my little flowers that I'm wearing, they came from far across the ocean. My friend Elizabeth brought these to me, and they came from Estonia. Yes, the women wear them with their costumes. Aren't they fun? And to me, they are a summer, put flowers in your hair. When I was young, I used to have very long braids, and I would, for fun, sometimes take a long string of pearls and braid the pearls in my dark braids. Then I would wind them around my head and have a big red flower. And it was very effective. I would get a lot of compliments, but I was singing a lot, and it was a perfect, bright, went with the songs. And so you younger people on the Tea Talk that have long hair, you can be so creative. And I had never thought about it, but once I was picking up my kids at their little Christian school, and this lady said to me, "You wear your hair different every day." And I didn't even know that. I said, "Really? Do I?" I didn't know. And she said, "Yes, I'm always waiting to see what you're going to do next." I said, "Well, isn't that fun?" And then I had a lady at church come up to me and she said, "I'm always waiting to see what you're wearing next Sunday." And I thought, wow, I didn't know anyone even noticed. People want color. So be brave and bold and wear the color. Give the glory to God. The glory of God is man fully alive. Yes, it is. He wants us to reflect His light and hope in this world. It's so easy to look at all of the problems, isn't it? But we can't allow ourselves to do that. We don't have time for that. We don't have place for that. We must say, no, we are going to look at the bright spots and the good things. There is so much good news. My husband and I, we were sitting, if you go to Cannon Beach, our favorite restaurant is the Driftwood, and it's right on the street. And you sit in Cannon Beach and you watch all the people walk by. Well, is it all right if I take a little more tea? Let's see if I can get it here without spilling it again. Well, we were sitting at the Driftwood, and we were sitting there yesterday. And I tell you, the little darling families coming by. And I know how it is. I mean, my daughter and my son, they all have these little children now, and I know when you have toddlers, oh wow, life is busy. And we saw them, the parents take them out of the car seat, put them in the stroller, walk along, go to the beach, get them their ice cream. We were watching all of this happen, and it was so beautiful. And I thought, this is life. This is good news. There's all these darling families. They're making it. They somehow got themselves in the car and got to Cannon Beach, and they're having a vacation. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the good things people do. People are so hard on themselves. They feel, oh, we need to do more. We need to be better. They don't take time to recognize what they have accomplished in that day. And do you know, I was told by a rabbi once, the purpose of Sabbath. Now I want you to get this, Sabbath. Now the Jews keep they keep Friday night to Saturday night, but that is considered the seventh day. We, as Christians, keep Sunday, and that is because we view Sunday as Resurrection Day. And so, one of the main purposes of Sabbath was to pause. You know, the word Selah in the Psalms, when you have a lot of verses, it'll say Selah. And that's almost the same as Sabbath. It means stop, reflect, ponder what you've heard. And that's what Sabbath is. Sabbath is to take time to stop, to ponder what has happened last week, and thank God for all the good things. Plan the next week. How can I improve? How can I do better? But it's that break, it's that rest, it's the rhythm. You as musicians out there know, any of you musicians know, you can't have a song that goes on and on and on. There has to be a break. Even in the hymns, there'll be a verse, and then there'll be a refrain or a chorus. Then there'll be another verse, and then there'll be a chorus. It's because humanly, we need time to reflect, to take it in, to receive. Yes. It is so wonderful. And that is what I think summer, in a sense, is kind of like a Sabbath. It's a pause from the heavy routines, or at least a vacation is. And in the olden days, I remember reading many, many books, and it was very common in the olden days for people to have a 3-week vacation in the month of August. Now that's a lot to us. Most people, they don't get that much. I mean, that would be like heaven. But that was kind of the old-fashioned way. In the old-fashioned books that I've read, even 100 years ago, they would go to to a real vacation, would be going to a retreat, a place of rest where you would actually go and spend the whole time one place. And when we were down at Seaside yesterday, we walked part of the promenade, which we looked, and I said, Michael, I know this is from 100 years ago. And I was right. It was made in 1921. And it's about 1.5 miles, and you can walk all along the water, all along the Pacific Ocean. It's where the statue of Lewis and Clark, where they stopped. And this promenade is so beautiful. And that is a picture of what vacation was like. People would go and they would have a real experience of everything being taken care of, all the meals, people that could afford it. Now, I know some of the people that couldn't afford it. I know many families would go and camp I've heard of New York families, whole communities of Jews or Italians or Irish. They would go from their neighborhoods and their relatives up to the Catskills and rent little cabins, but they'd go for a couple of weeks, and it was a real break. And that gives people so much power. I believe stress has happened to our culture because people don't know how to relax and take a break and go to have a resort experience. And people will say, well, it's not affordable, but there are ways. And one of them is camping. when you have little children, you go camping out in nature, and it's a lot of work. I know it's a lot of work, but the kids will never forget it. They won't. And I've heard it said it takes as much preparation for a weekend of camping or 2 weeks of camping. You still got to pack the car, but it's fun. At least a couple times if you have young children, you should give them that experience. It takes dedication. The parents we were watching these parents, and they all work so hard, but there's a reward, because those children, they're never going to forget their time at Cannon Beach. One lady pulled up in her car. She stopped. They jumped out. We thought they were going to come to the restaurant. No, they bought kites for all the kids, got back in the car and drove down we could see they were going down to the beach to fly the kites. We used to do that in Canada. Canada, there's a beautiful sea walk in Victoria, BC, where the wind is always there. And I remember we bought kites oftentimes for our kids, and they would play for hours with those kites, hours. So fun. Now that is free. Then there was a beautiful park and a petting farm, Beacon Hill Park, petting farm. That was free. Then there was the Parliament building. You could go through that. Beautiful stained glass windows, beautiful design. That was free. There's a lot to do that is right there that you can take and enjoy, and always a good walk in the fresh air. I just highly encourage everyone, take a break this summer, even if you haven't done it yet. Go on a little day trip somewhere with your family or your kids or your grandkids or somebody. Yes, have a picnic. I want to go have a picnic before summer's over. We haven't done that for a long time. We used to do it so often, but you just get out of the habit, and you forget things. I hadn't been to Cannon Beach for a couple years, and I forgot, honestly. The Oregon coast, there is nothing like the Oregon coast. The Washington coast is beautiful and wild, but the Oregon coast has a road that all along, you can drive all along and see the ocean. It's so dramatic. The mountains are behind you, and the ocean is in front of you. It is just like something else. We drove down through the old way, down through Montesano and through South Bend and down over the Astoria Bridge, which goes from Washington to Oregon, because Oregon is Astoria, and what separates it is the Columbia River. And the bridge is miles long. It's kind of scary, but you drive over it and you come to beautiful old Astoria, a Scandinavian town that is sea and ships. It's where the Columbia meets the Pacific Ocean. It is spectacular. Then we drove on down to Seaside. If you have time and you have kids, you can go and visit several military bases. You can visit where Lewis and Clark was. It's a historic, educational journey. And then you can land in Cannon Beach. There is something in Cannon Beach. It is romantic. It is beautiful. But I want to show you what I got for my prize, okay? It's fun when you can get a little prize. I didn't expect it. My husband is so nice. He bought me there's a wonderful store in Seaside called Molly Malone's. It's where they have gems and stones, a lot of Baltic amber. It's just a fun store. Their stuff is beautiful, and it's really reasonably priced, shockingly reasonably priced, because it's all silver. Well, my husband is born in November, and I love the amethyst, the gold amethyst. Well, this ring was sitting there, and I had admired it. It's a citrine. See, it's a citrine. It's a teardrop, and it's set in silver, and it just fit my hand. It just felt right. It felt wonderful. You see on my tea talk, I'm always wearing that Baltic Amber. I haven't been able to take it off for years, but I kind of need a little change right now. And he said, that is his birthstone. So that's my ring. That's my husband's birthstone, my true love. It's very romantic, and it's for our anniversary. So I am very grateful. So that was very special, and I will treasure it forever. Well, I hope you're having a good week. I love all of your comments. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for sharing. And thank you for your little likes. I appreciate them. And please share with others, because this tea talk, I've got some new people on here and they said they've enjoyed it so much. And that makes me so happy, because I am doing this for you and for me to have fun, to have good news in our world, because there is too much bad news. And we want to be on the Tea Talk committed to knowing that God is in charge. Ultimately, everything is going to work out. We have to have faith, hope, and love. And the greatest of these is love. So do something for someone. This beautiful little teacup, it's for you. I give to you, pink. And I just pray you have a fabulous week and the rest of summer. Write a poem, read a book, bake a berry pie. That's fun to do in the summer. And do a good deed for someone else, and it will make you so happy inside. That's what really makes us happy. Yes, to do something for someone else. Yes. Well, have a great week, and God bless you. By the way, that's Corelli playing again today. I just can't stop listening to Corelli. Beautiful Italian composer. Pre-Bach. Yes, he mentored Bach. Johann Sebastian Bach looked to Corelli and used much of his training for himself.